What's going on today, people? This is the Young Base Lord TJG back again with another video. So today we are going over an old favorite. This is a deck I used to want to run for a very long time. I mean, not with the current cards, but I've always been a fan of Fiend decks ever since Dark Necrofear came out. I've always wanted to run this deck. I've always wanted to be good. It's never been a tier 1 deck in my opinion. It's usually been a tier 2 or tier 3 deck, but I think with some new additions that have come out and with some hopeful other new additions, maybe there'll be more things in GX. I think this deck has gotten a little bit better, and I think it has a little bit of resurgence. I've been running around with it in King of Games. It's been pretty good, although I don't really take King of Games seriously because no one runs anything serious in there really. So I think this would be a fine deck to use in Plat through Legend. I personally haven't done it because I've been King of Games the entire time I've been running this deck, but let me go over what's in it. So you got 2 Dark Necrofear because that's all we have right now. Let me actually go into edit deck so I can just show you copies. Card Guard is an amazing card for this deck, I think, because it's a 1900 beater. It's a Fiend, so under Archfiend Labyrinth, it gets that nice 500 attack boost, so you have a 2400 attack thing. Previously, you had Gilgarth at 2300 under it, but Card Guard is extra good. Additionally, you can place a card counter on Dark Necrofear, on your Labyrinth, on some other monster that you have in case you need to. Fiend Farewell is there because you want to send one Fiend. So basically the play is have a Doom Dog, have it be destroyed, your opponent attacks again with another monster, you pop a Sphere Karibo, outrun 3 by the way if you have them. Then you Fiend Farewell, send something to the graveyard, you have Dark Necrofear in hand, summon it, and you can get this thing out really, really easily. If you want, you can take out the Gilgarth and put in another Trance Archfiend. I personally think having the Gilgarth is there just because you don't have to sack something for the Trance Archfiend, and this thing is just always strong. I did try this with only 2 Doom Dogs, and that wasn't as good, it wasn't as consistent. Spells and Traps, we've got 2 Archfiend Labyrinth, you could take out one of them and put in something else like another Super Rush or another enemy controller. We've got 1 Mirror Wall and 1 Floodgate because those are all I have. I would probably recommend actually, if you're going to take on Archfiend Labyrinth, put in 2 Floodgates. Or if you don't have Floodgate, take on Archfiend Labyrinth and then run 3 Mirror Wall. I think any one of those would be good. The problem with Dark Necrofear is that it doesn't get over a lot of common monsters naturally, but it is able to get over them in the fact that it can steal them. So it is good for things like that. So I have 4 replays to show off today. Pretty much, in my opinion, I think that this could be a solid tier 2 deck. It's a deck that has a pretty good matchup for a lot of things. Even if they manage to destroy your Necrofear, you do get to steal something once it goes to the graveyard, so unless they're banishing it or unless they don't have a monster on their side of the field, you are going to be able to take something, or a face-up monster on their side of the field. Actually, I don't know if it's face-up. I think it's face-up, but I'm not sure. I don't know the card text specifically because it hasn't come up yet. The one other thing I'm not a big fan of with this is once you've stolen an opponent's monster, if they destroy your back row, so if they destroy your Dark Necrofear while it's in the back, it doesn't... well, you don't get to keep the monster will go away, and that's something that will come up in one of these later videos. So we're up against Phoenix in this. Phoenix is another previous tier 1, now probably is tier 2, I'm not really sure. Today I was thinking about this in class. I was thinking, if there's some sort of ranking system, also this guy runs Gale Lizard. Who still runs Gale Lizard in these decks? But I had 2 Doom Dogs, so it didn't really matter. So I was thinking about a tier system, and I was thinking, oh, what decks would be tier 1, what decks would be tier 2, tier 3, etc. And I mean, there's too many decks out there to really say for sure this kind of deck. Oh, also I go for the enemy controller take play because it's the best play. Also, we're going to be able to swing here, which is... here's a big reason why I like Doom Dog. It's just once it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can activate its effect. So I think running 2 enemy controllers is very necessary for this. We play the Archfiend Labyrinth because it's going to allow us to swing for game. Except he has the Sphere Karibo, which does kind of suck. So, yeah. I was thinking about, as I was saying, decks and tiers. And there's so many decks out there and so many variations. It would be so difficult to have any sort of real way to make some sort of ranking system, especially since the meta changes so much and it's all very opinion-based. So, the things you'd really need to have any sort of decent tiering system would be, first off, you'd need a council of people, probably, to assign these tiers. Kind of like if you know Pokemon, that's what they do for in the Smogon tiers. I popped the Super Rush Headlong here just in case he decided, well, I mean, in case he brought in a Yaksha or something and somehow decided to attack or something, I don't know. This guy also runs Dark Coffin, which I thought was interesting, but all of his monsters are going to be destroyed. Pretty much, I did the Super Rush Headlong just to save my Dark Necrofear for one turn. And luckily, he takes out the one monster from my hand that I didn't really need, especially since I draw another one. So I leave it like this in case he had the Windstorm, but he had the enemy controller, which does kind of suck. And we're going to get popped here. So he's got two of them, but I'm going to make some good plays. You'll see him. So you're going to need a whole council of people. You're going to need everyone to agree on that, which is already difficult enough. There's just a whole nature of other things that you're going to need to... also having two Dark Necrofears is so much fun. Sorry. I still haven't really figured out how to make it so texts don't come through on this. Also, we're going to go steal his Phoenix, and since we destroyed the other one by battle, it's not going to matter. He's going to be able to pop on this turn so he can destroy his third Phoenix. I wish I had three. That'd be so nice. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to contain my thoughts, but I didn't, like, write any specific notes on what I thought would be good for the tiering system. But the other thing I was thinking about, just to wrap up this idea, really, is maybe if you had some sort of ranking system, like I've talked about in my previous videos, my ranking system on how I think cards work for 1 to 5. However, for decks, I have a different ranking system. It goes a 1 to a 3. So a card that's a 3 is obviously something you want to run 2 or 3 copies of in a deck. It is something that the deck is built around. So for example, in Sacred Phoenix decks, a 3 would be Fire King After Yaksha, Sacred Phoenix, Sphere Karibo, and Fire King Island. Although Fire King Island is it's a 2. So whereas a 3 is something that's necessary for the deck to have 3, you could really only run 2 of the Fire King Islands, and there are some Phoenix decks that don't even run Fire King Island. So you know what kind of deck this is. It's not actually what you think it is. When I was first going into this, I was like, oh great, Toon Barrel Dragon, and then this guy popped out with this kind of stuff, and I was like, oh my god. This is a deck I wanted to run, but I know it's not very good. And also we're gonna be able to swing super early because this guy gets himself so weak. Anyway, continuing on as I was saying, this is the dream, by the way. You get 3 things in the graveyard. You get your Dark Necrofear out. You still get to summon, and you've got your Archfiend Palabyrinth. God, I love Archfiend Palabyrinth. It's such a good card. Yeah, so a 2 isn't a very necessary card. It's something that is useful in the deck, but not the best. It's not a 3. And then a 1 is something that could easily be replaced. It's still good in the deck, but it's not the most necessary card. These are typically your Super Rush Headlongs, your back row support that isn't multifunctional, just your standard protection. All those are typically a 1 to a 2, and they aren't the most pivotal parts. Mirror Wall is typically a 2 or a 3. However, depending on the deck, though, most of the time not a 3, more of a 2 than anything. So you're going to have to set up some sort of ranking system with that, and I think maybe you'd have to get some sort of, I was thinking, you could get some sort of Excel spreadsheet and then have it so it's on one page you have all the decks in one tiering system. So you have like your tier 1s, your tier 2s, your tier 3s, and then in specific other Excel tabs, I only use Excel because it's a known medium for how it works. You have the specific decks, and you have, say, for example, a Sacred Phoenix deck. At the top you'd have your tier 3s, or I mean, yeah, your 3s, your 2s, and your 1s. So when you have your 3s, it'd be like your Sacred Phoenix and your Fire King After Yaksha. Then for 2s and your 1s, then you'd have an other options side of it, and I think that'd be good, and you can rank those as well. And then you could have several different builds for the deck, because Sacred Phoenix is one of those decks that has it's pretty fluid. You could run multiple things. This is also Last Gamble Reptiles, which I thought was super interesting because I really like the idea of reptiles, but I don't think they're very good. Also, this guy doesn't go for the flip play. He's going very aggressive, and I think that's a little bit for his downfall. Dark Necrofear coming out so easy. This card's smooth like butter. This card's always coming out. I go for the play because I know what kind of deck this is, and I know he's gonna bring out the Snake God Ananta. What's it called? Well, you'll see in just a second. Spoiler. This guy rolls a 6, so super lucky. By the way, he took forever on this play. By the way, so he sets, which I actually didn't know. You had to have face up. What's it called? Evil Dragon Ananta. So he goes for the weird Wild Tornado play, I guess, just to try and take out my Dark Necrofear more, not really aware that I'm going to be able to take it on the next turn. So, during the end phase, I mean. So I take his Ananta just you know, to take it. I set the Super Rush Headlong just in case anything happens, because I was thinking at the end of the turn I'd pop a Doom Dog, but I also want it in case something happens to it, in case he had the Gale Lizard, which I know they run because it's a reptile, or if he had something else that was going to destroy it. So he is actually able to summon his another Evil Dragon Ananta, so he's able to take this during the end phase, but he has to destroy the other one because of the effect. So it's coming down to the wire here, and thank goodness I draw the Dark Necrofear. That's just a perfect top deck situation. Fiend Farewell, and we're able to summon it, and we're able to clean up this game. Dark Necrofear really just showing it's a really good card in this meta right now. Like, unless you're going up against, I faced Red Eye Zombies maybe 2 times, maybe 2 or 3 times with this, and it lost every time. Not because the deck couldn't function against it, but really because I had horrible, bricky, terrible starting hands. Such as 2 Dark Necrofears and 2 Super Rush Headlongs. Like, what are you going to do with that? So, this is also the weirdest deck I faced. This is Vampire Mill, which I thought was so strange. I just faced this one, so it's fresh in my mind. Let me know what you think of this deck in the comments down below, by the way. And I'm not going to do any more videos prior to GX, I think. So, once GX comes out, I'll make some new decks, and then in those videos, leave some comments down below on what you want to see. I still do have a list of things other people have suggested in the comments. Like, I've got a Blue Eyes deck in the mix, but I'm waiting for a little bit more support or some other, like, helpful card for this. I don't get why he has Light of Destruction, because what is this? So I get how he thinks when a card effect sends a card from the deck to the graveyard, send the top 3 from the deck to the graveyard, but it says when an opponent's card effect does that. So I think this guy got a little mixed up. This isn't the most competitive deck I'm up against, but I thought it was fun because it actually gave me a little bit of run for my money just because he got a little bit lucky with things. Also, who runs Adhesion Trap Hole? It's 2017. What are you doing? Yeah, so we just set the Doom Dog. I misread Vampire Lady, and I thought it said your opponent chooses, but he actually chose, and I had to get rid of the spell, which is totally fine, like whatever. He pays for it. We got the Super Rush. This is why we have it, because mirror wall play is our thing. Yeah, this card's good. Other things I want to talk about. I saw today that Jane Yuki is going to have a starter deck with GX. I don't know when that's coming out. Hopefully it'd come out in like another month or so. I don't want it right now just because I have no gems. And I don't want, like, they're not going to give us 500 gems for a starter pack. So here I go. Here, like, this doesn't seem like a mill deck yet, right? Like, it just seems like a normal deck. But then he has the Warm Worm, which mills me. And he's got the Regretful Rebirth, and I don't want to attack into this again to make the instant 3-card loss, or an additional 3-card loss, so I just decided to wait it out and see what happens. So he destroys it in the end phase. He doesn't attack, fearing my Mirror Wall, because at this point he's probably figured out what it was. I had my toggle set to off for a while on this, though, just so I could try and make some plays. We bring out another... He has another Adhesion Trap Hole for another Dark Necrofear. I destroy both, so I can bring back a monster from the Banish zone, a banished monster, I don't know, and I attack. He has Draw Sense low level, which I think is a dumb idea. Honestly, there's so many better things. Like, why are you using Rec for this? This whole deck, if person who ran this deck, if you follow me, if you are one of my subscribers, unsubscribe, your deck is bad. And that's all I gotta say about Dark Necrofear. It's pretty good. I think Fiends have some sort of a comeback, and I really hope... Oh, they said who's coming back. I didn't actually read for upcoming updates. Who's coming back? New character, Spook You to the Grave. Oh, so I assume with that there's going to be something with more Fiends, but we also do see Yugimoto is coming back. So maybe with all that we'll get more support, and maybe with GX in general we'll get more support for Fiends. I actually don't know many of the GX cards well, other than Elemental Heroes and Destiny Heroes, or DD Warrior, whatever the hell they're called. I don't actually know. I don't care that much. I'm just a little bit excited for Elemental Hero. But yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you think of GX. Let me know what's going on in your world. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you think Fiends are terrible. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Give me your dad's phone number, and someone buy me access to DK's Discord. Yeah, this is the Jewish Giraffe, signing off.